Hello, everybody out there. Welcome back to Fundamentalist Fails, where we will be having a little laugh at all the foibles and the tribulations of the Christians everywhere online. And this today we've got a absolute cracker. It is the one of the weirdest things I've seen. It is very very, very odd and very strange. And it's definitely some AI slop. I do warn you. I think we've got to point this out and laugh. I think we've got to sort of point out and discourage these people from using AI slop. I don't mind a bit of AI. I don't mind, I know that some channels use it for sort of getting maybe waiting screens or be right back screens or maybe things, but these channels are built on AI completely. There is no actual content which is not AI. I guarantee you they're written on AI. And if someone's using AI to help them write something, I don't really mind, but this is like all AI. It's written by AI, it's put together by AI, it is AI slop. So I don't mind people using AI to maybe enhance what they're doing. For instance, I know that some people like Breakfast Taco uses AI a lot to sort of, make screens, make animations, things like that. But he is bringing a live, people talking, and so I will sort of, say, okay, you're using it to enhance human stuff. That's okay. If you're just replacing all content with AI, that's what I'd term as AI slop. So, I think you may say, hey, you're a hypocrite. Used AI in your thumbnail to create sort of a cartoon picture of you. Yes, but my content is not AI. This picture being brought to you right now is not AI. And I know what you're thinking. You need AI to get a head that shiny, but no, trust me. This is all natural baldness coming your way. So welcome. We're going to be getting into it fairly soon. I do want to just quickly sort of just ask you, can you please like, subscribe? Can you please support the channel? Because I would really appreciate it. I thank you to everybody. I want to give a big shout out to Stop the Stupidity, who has been an amazing supporter. Left-handed Jedi, amazing supporter. Thank you so much for your support. Yesterday we had a member stream. I had a lot of fun. It was really good. I got to chill out and just chat and just engage with the people. So if you do want to do that, grab a membership, grab a readership, as it were, and we'll grow the channel. We'll grow the channel, and if we can grow the channel, I will start to get better and better debates. Maybe sort of people that can engage without losing their crap or being a you know, absolute prick in debate. Maybe that will happen. I can't guarantee it. I can't guarantee it, but maybe. Um, yeah, probing. Look, I can read your mind. Yeah, I'm not concerned about a little bit of AI. It's when the entire thing is replaced by AI. It's nothing but AI that really bothers me. Or it's just there's no actual substantive content kind of thing, right? I think that's what I'd make the designation. There's no substantive human content. It is just all AI. That really sort of bothers me. But I know that for a struggling little channel like mine, I could not afford to pay artists, unfortunately. And I know the arguments. I know the thing about theft and stuff. I get you. I hear you. I really do. It is difficult for artists and things. I get you. Um, it is hard for struggling YouTubers as well. Trust me. Left-handed Jedi, member for 27 months. Yeah, Left-handed Jedi has been an absolute champion, a champion of the Force. Member 27 months. Dang. Always thrilled to support the community. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Jedi. You didn't have to do that. You just want to hear me read them out, don't you? Don't you? You just want to hear the here that gifted 5 readerships as well. Thank you so much, Jedi. You didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. It's been a rough. Oh, you hit Proby time. Well done. Well done. I don't know. I'll just get warmed up for this. You put me on the spot now. You put me on the spot. And you know, my announcer voice is terrible, but it's not AI. I think AI would probably do a better job. Look, I don't have this all or nothing black and white AI thing, right? I don't have that. It's just there's some that egregiously is no actual human content. It is just slop. It's slop. And it really shows. And trust me, this video will show you just how bad it is. And I don't know who it's for. I think it's for children. So if you're feeling childish, and I'm feeling a little childish today, but anyway, first up, sorry, Jedi, I see you. Do the voice thing. I see. I'm trying to warm up my voice because I've sort of I got up late, and so I'm trying to warm up my voice before I start. Hold on one second. I'll just have some coffee. It always helps. Always helps. And left-handed Jedi gets 5 readerships. Those go out to Probing Time, Steve J. 1313 Maryland. It's Razor Sharp, baby. Megan Fox's Giant Boobs. Winners, chicken dinners. Enjoy your emotes and other content. Thank you so much, Left-Handed Jedi. You are a scholar and a saint and an atheist and a heretic and an absolute Chad. Absolute Chad. You're going on 12? I believe that, Probing Time. I believe that. Look, you should always have your inner child ready to go at any opportunity, right? Like, let's face it. You know, there's nothing worse than somebody getting old and turning into a Karen or a Kevin or something. There's nothing worse than that. You know, just have a bit of a laugh. Let's have a laugh. Let's go. I'm going to get this thing rolling because dang, it feels good to be a gangster. No, it actually is something that made me laugh, and I hope it makes you laugh too. I hope we can. So this is called. I'll just full screen it. This is called Unbelievable Bible Studies You Forgot Existed. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Look, I will say after sort of going over them you know, a little bit, most of them are unbelievable, as in I don't believe they happened. You know, they sound more like mythology than any kind of factual statement. But one of them isn't really unbelievable, right? It isn't really a unbelievable thing. It's actually very believable. And I'll tell you when we get to it. It's kind of like yeah. So 1 second and we will start this thing.
Remy, is it true a dead man walked out of someone else's grave?
Walked out alive. And that's not even the wildest one.
What do you mean that's not even...
I don't know what the Bible's obsession with sheep and donkeys is. It's very strange, but like, so I think this is for children. I think this is like preparing you for the talking donkey in the Bible. Like, don't tell your kids about the talking donkey until, you know, they get, I don't know, sort of gingerly immersed in that experience. You know, let's soothingly get them used to talking donkeys. I don't know why he's called Remy as well. I thought that was the rat from Ratatouille. I thought that was Remy the rat from Ratatouille. Anyway.
The wildest one.
I found 6 stories in the Bible that are so unbelievable.
Yes, they are unbelievable. As in, nobody should believe them. And look, this is like from Red Lamb Productions or something. And the red lamb, that's like, it's really different to go, oh, it's a cute little lamb with red, Yeah, it's red because the red lamb signifies a bloodied lamb. You know, I
Most people read right past them without noticing.
yeah. So it's red lamb stories, and the sort of view changes when you think about, you know, a red lamb as being a lamb with blood all over it. Because, you know, Passover, they took lamb's blood and sort of put it on their doors. So yeah, it comes a different context, which probably they don't, you know, don't tell the children that the lammy here was used as a sacrifice. I don't know why they've got the sacrifice, the one, to appeal to the children. Elisha's bones.
Elisha was the prophet who followed Elijah.
Okay, that's a little
For
bit
decades,
loud to me.
he walked with God.
Okay, that's a little bit loud to me. I'm going to turn it down a little. Do tell me if the volume's a bit janky, because I don't think they equalize this video, so we may have to screw around with it a bit. Widow's oil. That sounds like a sort of, you know, tincture sold at the pharmacy for, you know, are you having trouble pleasing your man? We'll get you some widow's oil. Parted Jordan? Is that the river or a person? Boy raised. So, can I just point out that these sound like the worst miracles ever? You know, like boy raised. I know the story that's referencing, right? It's not referencing like, oh, he raised a boy into a man. You know, he fathered a child and then raised this boy. It's not talking about that. It's talking about raising a boy from the dead. But that is hilarious because it sounds like, oh, his miracle was just, you know, getting a kid through puberty. Is that a miracle? Really? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Beta Ray says, lamb equals purity. Donkeys equal patriarchy, male dominance. Yeah, well, you could be right. Did they even get the lambs? No. They didn't, Jinx. They didn't, because like what they're trying to do is, what we know is that the more sort of humanish the face looks, the more it appeals to us, kind of thing. So there's reasons why puppies sort of appeal to humans, kind of thing. It's because their faces are very this structure that's very similar to our own babies. So yeah, they're trying to make it like that. And a floating axe head. You know, I feel like a magician could pull that off without a problem. But anyway.
And performed miracle after miracle. Then one day, Elisha grew old. And like every other man in Scripture, Elisha died.
Okay, I might actually speed this up because it's kind of... Let's find out how wacky it is on 1.25, shall we?
Wrapped him in cloth. They placed him in a stone tomb. They rolled the stone across.
Yeah, this sound familiar? Anybody? Anybody think this sounds a little familiar? Familiar, anybody? They placed him in a tomb, and he came back to life in the tomb. Anybody?
Months pass. The seasons change. Elisha's bones rest in the dark. Now picture yourself walking this same land a year later.
Okay. I can picture that. This video, by the way, is really into visualizations. You don't have to visualize it. It gets dumber if you do. Like, because the actions that these people take don't seem like actions that anybody in their right mind would take. You know what I mean? Like, so when they're sort of saying, imagine you're walking in this person, that's not a good call for these people, because the decisions that they make aren't great. They're
a friend has died. You're carrying his body to the burial site. It's a normal day. Sad, but normal. Then, you see movement on the horizon. Your blood goes cold. Moabite raiders.
Oh, Moabite raiders out of nowhere. Moabite raiders from the top rope. Did anyone get that? Like, look at this. They're not even trying. Like, come on.
Armed, coming fast, and you're out in the open. You panic. There's no time to finish the burial.
I love that. It's just got raiders across the top. And that is clearly a mummy, okay? just for your information, like, no, the ancient Israel did not mummify their remains. They did use shrouds, but that is not a shroud. That is quite clearly a mummy. Okay, so I think the Egyptians had the monopoly on mummies. Like, why is that even there? Wrong area, my guy.
Burial. There's no time.
And that guy, that's the same dude. Like, that is 100%, either they were twins or that is the same dude in different costumes. What is going on?
To even run. And then you see it. A stone tomb cut into the nearby hillside, already open. You've heard of it. Everyone has. This is Elisha the prophet's tomb. You grab your friend's body. You heave him forward. You throw him in. The body.
Really? Really? So imagine you are carrying your friend's body to the to be buried, and raiders come on you. Would the body be your first priority at that point? Like, instead of you going and hiding in the tomb, you throw some dude's your friend's body into some random tomb. Is that the priority? Like, yeah, you want to respect your friend, but the Moabite raiders aren't going to rob or kill that dude, right? He's dead. You could come back for the body. Does this make any sense to anybody? Right? It's just an ordinary day, sad, but ordinary, because you've lost your friend. And, you know, you're carrying his body along to be buried. And then surprise, raiders. Like, I'm sorry, but at that point, the body's probably going to be the safest of the lot of you. Like, why do you have to find him? Like, why do you have to yeet this thing into a tomb? The raiders, like, they might check the body for valuables, but what, are they going to abscond with it? Are they body raiders? What are we talking about here? Oh no, it's the Moabite corpse raiders. Better hide this thing. You better hide yourself. Hide in the tomb.
He disappears into the darkness. You hear a heavy thud below. The body lands directly on the bones of Elisha.
Why are the bones of Elisha? Was Elisha just out in the open? Like, he didn't get a burial shroud? They're just out in the... All right, well, look, we've got mummies in this, what appears to be an ancient Palestinian burial rites, which I'm sure is inaccurate, so who knows?
The moment of contact. Silence. Stillness. For one long heartbeat. And then a warmth spreads through the body. The wrappings shift. Something is happening. 2 Kings 13, verse 21. Read it for yourself. The dead man came to life and stood up on his feet.
He's alive! It's alive! That man looks shocked to be alive? He looks absolutely shocked. Okay. So they yeet it in, and then what? They run? They hide in the tomb themselves? What exactly happens here? It was, what was the verse? It was, because it says read it for yourself. 2 Kings 13. Okay, because I want to know. Right, put yourself in this situation. Why the hell are they yeeting a body and not running themselves? I don't know. It's just, I respect my friends. I would respect their remains. But listen, if you're my friend and I'm carrying your body to be buried and there's a bunch of dudes with swords looking to kill me, I'm sorry, you're second priority at that point. You know, you take care of the living first, right? Yeah, so apparently it's like, so the Moabite raiders used to enter the country every spring. Well, then why are you okay, once Israelites were burying a man, suddenly they saw a band of raiders, so they threw the man's body into Elijah's tomb. Tomb. When the body touched Elisha's bones, the man came to life and stood to his feet. That's it. So yes, apparently they did hang around. Apparently they did... You know, apparently they did hang around to see it hit him. They did stick around, apparently. I don't know why. take the. It said, yeah, they threw the man's body. I feel like they're doing more of a disservice to the corpse than the raiders are. You know, the raiders probably would have looked at it and said, "Oh yeah, it's a dead guy," and they're just yeeting this body left, right, and center. What are you doing, guys? Come on, a bit of respect for the dead. Why are you yeeting them?
Read it for yourself. The dead man came to life and stood up on his feet.
Hold on. So Elisha's bones had some kind of power left in them?
It wasn't the bones. It was the God behind the man. Even death.
Oh, of course. Maybe it was one of the, one of those situations where he was in a deep coma and they couldn't tell. In fact, what they used to have, because horrifically, and prepare yourself for this if you didn't know, there have been corpses exhumed, and this is sort of during Victorian era, earlier, and there have been fingernail marks on the inside of the coffin, right? Because sometimes, especially when our medicine wasn't particularly advanced in the past, people were buried who weren't actually dead. And they woke up. And that is horrific. And they actually, there has been examples of, basically they would thread a line underground from the coffin to a bell. And so the person could ring the bell if they were actually alive, which is horrific. And that caused the term "saved by the bell," right? It means saved at the last second kind of thing. So "saved by the bell" was referring to when somebody who was actually alive was buried, they rang the bell and were saved.
Couldn't stop what he started through Elisha. The dead man takes his first breath. His chest rises.
I don't know if that is a biblical picture or maybe a picture from some kind of eroticism book online. I don't know. It seems he seems very. I don't know. I don't want to look at this picture.
His hand trembles. He pulls the loose wrappings from his face. Light from outside touches his eyes. He stumbles toward the opening of the tomb. He steps into the light.
Yeah, and all of this is sort of stuff that's being read into it. None of this stuff, like, obviously they're adding a lot of imagery to the Bible. The Bible just says there was a guy, it basically says there was a guy came to life and stood to his feet. That's it. There's all of this stuff is added to sort of give imagery.
And the two men who threw him in, they're staring, frozen, jaws open.
What about the Raiders? What about the Raiders? The Raiders, my guy. So what happens then? Like, is it one of those hilarious situations where the guy comes to life, comes in, and then the Raiders kill him again? Because that is presumably what happened. If there's Raiders bearing down on you, you yeet your friend's dead body into a tomb. He comes back alive, comes outside. Presumably the Raiders are still there. You haven't done anything about the Raiders. You're still standing outside the tomb. Just mouths agape while the Raiders are like, "What are you looking at?"
Man they buried, standing right in front of them, breathing, walking. That's not a parable. That's not symbolic. That actually happened.
Yeah, I don't know that actually happened. Sounds like mythology, but the thing is that people we have thought were absolutely dead before have actually been alive, and that has happened in the past. That has been documented in the past. So, yeah.
Elisha had been dead for months, and his bones still carried the power of God. One verse tells you the whole story.
Wait, he'd been dead for months and it was just his bones? How long does it take for a body to decompose? Especially it hasn't been buried. It's in a tomb. How long does it take for a body to decompose to bones? Yeah, it can take several years in temperate climates, 2 weeks to several weeks. Burial conditions can, Yeah, so average for buried or temperature, it's 2 to 10 years to decompose. So I don't know in a few months that it would decompose to bones, like to a skeleton. He's not exposed to the elements. He's not. Admittedly, he's not buried. He's in a tomb. So I think it would take longer than a few months. I have issues with this decomposition process. I think it would take a lot longer than that to decompose.
Story. Most people read right past it, but it's there. It's real. And it's the first of 6 stories hiding in plain sight.
A dead guy touched some bones and just got up. That's basically a zombie movie.
Except
You're not wrong, Victoria. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That's okay. Please, nobody get murdered around me. Please, nobody. That would be bad. Yes, that would be bad if somebody got. Yeah, that would be absolutely terrible. I get you.
the zombie didn't eat anyone. He just walked home. But that's only story 1.
That's only story 1. Yeah.
Has a snake fight in a palace.
Oh, is that a euphemism for something? A snake fight? Is that what they're calling it these days? Is that like sword fighting? I don't know.
This happens before the plagues, before the blood, before anything you remember. Picture yourself walking into Pharaoh's palace. 2 stone lions flank the massive doorway. You're Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what the palace would look like. I mean, that seems to be a representation of a burial tomb, right? Like, I'm not sure if that would be a palace, but never mind. You know, he obviously has just gone Egyptian doorway with guards, and, you know, that's what's come up.
Walking into Pharaoh's palace. 2 stone lions flank the massive doorway. You're Aaron.
You're Aaron, and you have 4 legs. What is going on with this picture? What is going on? Like, seriously, who knew Aaron was a mutant? Who knew? It's yeah, Aaron was entering the palace, and a quadruped. Yes, absolutely. Is that technically a centaur? No, that has to be a horse's body. Horse's legs. Yeah, no, this is wild. Yes, quadruped Aaron.
Brother Moses is beside you.
Look, if I was the Pharaoh, I would take one look at this cursed human being and go, look, do whatever you want. I am not arguing with a dude with 4 legs. There's no way. This is cursed. And you are cursed. Do whatever you want. Get out of my kingdom. Get out of my kingdom.
You're both 80 years old. The most powerful man on earth is sitting ahead of you. On a gold throne. He doesn't get up. He doesn't even look directly at you.
Why is he so big? Like, look, these are the people down here. Why is he, like, massive? He's massive. I don't... This is a man that should give... Actually, I will rescind my 4 legs comment. This is a man who would give no fucks that you have 4 legs. Look at the size of this guy. That is insane. That is insane. Like, I somehow don't think these pictures are accurate. I hate to break it to you, everybody. I don't think this is accurate. Not accurate to history. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you. I know you're shattered. I'm devastated, but not accurate to history.
He just waits. Moses gives Aaron a small nod. That's the signal. It's time. God told you what to do. Throw the staff down on the floor. The staff hits the stone. And then it changes. Before your eyes, a snake. A real snake, hissing, coiling, on the palace floor. Pharaoh watches, doesn't flinch.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. So the reason why the Pharaoh doesn't flinch, as it were, is a very interesting one. It's because Egypt was sort of known for this trick. It is an old snake charmer trick, like having a coiled staff that turns into a snake. It's just a very well-known trick among snake charmers. So I grabbed some sort of video because they still do this trick today. Just one second, I'll find where he's doing it. The sort of yeah. So this is an ancient trick that snake charmers did.
The snake charmer winds the snake around a staff, and the snake becomes immobile, and the head appears to be the top of the staff. Moses must have shown the Pharaoh something just like this.
Yeah, so this is sort of I mean, you know, we can sort of tell that, hey, it's a real snake, but back in the day it was kind of, yeah, this is my stuff, and it was a very well-known trick, and it is just a trick, but don't try it. Please don't try this at home, especially not with the snakes in Australia, because you know, snakes in Australia will absolutely kill you dead. You don't make it to the phone. It's ridiculous.
When the snake is returned to the ground, it reanimates and rears up.
Yeah, so that's the snake charmer's trick. I also want to show you there's a really famous magic trick. Sorry, I did have a video of this. It's called the scarf to snake trick. I'll just find an example of it because it's very well known as well. It's very well known as well. Where is it? Oh, there's. Oh, that's got music, but I can. That'll do. That'll do. I wish I could. I can full screen, please. So check it out. He puts salt over it to distract from probably the snakes in his lap or down his pants, maybe. This man has a snake down his pants, kind of thing. But this is the silk to snake kind of thing, or scarf to snake trick. All right, it's just a magic trick. That's all it is. Just a magic trick. Could you imagine if you did that in front of the Pharaoh? Pharaoh would lose his mind. Lose his mind. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to play the music in case I got demonetized. It kind of sucks.
Doesn't even sit up straight. He raises one hand. He beckons his own men forward, his sorcerers. 3 Egyptian sorcerers step into the center of the throne room. They throw their own staffs down, and their staffs become snakes too. 4 snakes on the floor. For a moment, it looks like Egypt just matched God. Pharaoh almost smiles. He thinks he's seen this trick before. Then Exodus 7 verse 12 happens. In front of everyone, Aaron's serpent strikes forward, lunges at the first sorcerer's snake, then the second, then the third, one after another, gone. The sorcerers stare at the empty floor, mouths open, hands limp. Aaron walks calmly forward, reaches down, picks the snake up. The serpent becomes a staff again, wood in his hand. Simple. Done.
Hold on. The snake ate all of them?
Yeah. So basically, it's just he had a bigger snake, maybe. There are snakes that eat other snakes. I just don't know if this was, I wouldn't take this as an accurate reading of what happened, but all I'm saying is that, yeah, the snake, staff to snake trick is just an old trick. There's nothing miraculous about it. It is an old trick done by snake charmers from the, dawn of civilization, in Egypt particularly. The video that I showed you was an Egyptian snake charmer. It's still done today as sort of a magician's trick kind of thing. It really is just a trick. There's nothing miraculous about it.
And Pharaoh still said no?
He watched God's snake swallow every one of theirs and still crossed his arms. That's what makes the plagues hit different. This whole thing...
No, what makes the plagues hit different is that at one point, Pharaoh wants to let these people go, but God hardens his heart. He forces him to make a decision and then punishes him for it. That's what the real whole disaster is.
Happened before the first plague, before the blood, before the frogs. God gave Pharaoh a warning, a free preview of what he could do. And Pharaoh watched it happen, eyes open, and still hardened his heart. That decision cost him everything. His army, his son, his kingdom, all because he ignored one snake. 3 verses.
Well, no, it wasn't all because he ignored one snake. The creeping death which took every firstborn child in Egypt, including, I might add, slaves and livestock, because whatever was due to God hardening his heart, not him. So, it's just sort of and that's where the Passover story comes from. Because in order to not be hit by the creeping death, you had to put lamb's blood around the lintel of your door so that God would pass you over. So even if somebody was Jewish and just didn't do the Passover ritual, they still would lose their firstborn son. It's the most ridiculous thing ever, all because Pharaoh wouldn't let the Jews out of Egypt because God hardened his heart not to. So, really atrocious story, really horrible stuff.
Before the first plague. Most people skip right past it, but it's there.
Okay, so what's Pharaoh's excuse? He literally watched it happen.
Right? And that stubbornness cost him everything. But this next guy, God gave him something nobody's ever had before or since. Picture this moment. You've just called fire from heaven in front of a whole nation. The altar is still smoking. The air smells like burnt stone and victory. You've just defeated...
Oh, I love a burning altar in the morning. Smells like victory. Why is Elijah so angry? What an angry man. He's just... Wow, and why are all these people collapsed? Like, did he just... Is this like a serial killer? I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange. It was Elijah. Fire from heaven, yeah. 2 Kings. I think it's 1 Kings on Mount Carmel. 1 Kings. What do we got? 1 Kings 18. Let's see. Yeah, it just sort of says, it doesn't say this, it just sort of says, like he did a sacrifice. Baal answer that. Yeah, so this is sort of the sacrifice thing. Fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and on the wood. Do it again. Do it a 3rd time. Water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. At the time of sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed. Sorry, my bad. The Lord, the God of Abraham, let it be known that God in Israel, and I'm your servant. Answer me, Lord, answer me, though people know. Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. It doesn't say anything about knocking everybody down and making a corpse meadow in the surrounding area. It doesn't say anything about that. It doesn't say, look, there's like people going, oof. That isn't what happened, all right? This is the Bible just says he called fire down from the sky. I have a funny feeling, like if he had a knowledge of lightning and hid like a copper rod or something in there, he's on top of a mountain, right? Hides a little copper rod because he knows how lightning works, and then pours water on it. I bet it'd be struck by lightning as well. Just saying.
Defeated 450 prophets of Baal in front of everyone. The 3-year famine is about to break. You feel it in the wind. You tell your servant to look.
Man, he is just going, son, you disappoint me. Son, you disappoint. Why do you disappoint, son? Small child, I am disappointed in you.
Toward the sea. He comes back with news. A cloud the size of a man's hand. That's all it takes. The rain is coming. To send a warning to King Ahab. Get your chariot ready. The storm is coming fast. Ahab climbs up.
Wow, look at the size of that man. Look at the size of that boy. That is a thick boy right there. That is one thick bearded boy. I feel sorry for the horses dragging that dude around. Like, seriously. But 2 horses to drag that guy? He's bigger than the horse is. No wonder he has a chariot. He can't ride the damn thing. Freaking horse would collapse under that amount of weight. That is like a ridiculous man. That is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's ridiculous.
To King Ahab. Get your chariot ready. The storm is coming fast.
And I don't think they had 4-wheeled chariots in those days. I think it was just 2 wheels. I don't think that's historically accurate, that it's a 4-wheeler. 4-wheel drive chariot. I don't think so.
Ahab climbs up, grabs the reins.
And now it has 2 wheels. Okay, so this is more historically accurate, but different than the other picture. Because it appears as he rode his chariot away, 2 of the wheels fell off. Maybe, yes, 2 of the wheels did fall off. Look, chariot building was not a science in those days. It was more of an art, okay? I wouldn't surprise me if two of the wheels did, in fact, fall off.
The horses are trained for battle. The chariot launches forward. Dust and dirt kick up. He's flying. Then something happens to you.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the rain. He's in the rain. Right. Yes, he is in fact in the middle of the rain. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember this story from the Bible. I really don't. And like, don't forget, they're trained for war. Okay, the horses are trained for war. Don't forget that.
Thing you can't explain. Something from above. 1 Kings 18, verse 46. Go read it. I'll wait.
You'll wait? Oh, thank you. Well, let's read it then. He will wait. He will wait while we read it. He will wait, which is great. Which is fantastic. Okay. So, the 7th time the serpent brought a cloud as small as a man's hand is rising from the sea. So Elijah said, go and tell Ahab, hitch up your chariot and go down before the rain stops you. Meanwhile, the sky grew black, the winds rose, a heavy rain started falling, and Ahab rode off to Jezreel. The power of the Lord came on Elijah. Really, the Lord came on Elijah. Okay, the power of the Lord came on. Phrasing. And tucking his coat into his belt, he ran ahead of Ahab all the way to Jezreel. Yeah, a heavy rain started falling. Okay. We've read it, yes. It doesn't have a lot of detail, but it does say it was heavily raining. the power of the Lord was on Elijah, and he ran ahead of
Power of the Lord came upon Elijah. He tucked his cloak into his belt. He crouches. He sets his feet. And then he runs. Not a jog. Not a desperate sprint. A pace no human should be able to hold. He passes the chariot. A man on foot. Fast.
And he got struck by lightning, and he became the fastest man alive. Yes, it's the Flash. It's the Flash Biblical Edition. Okay. So this is their vaunted miracle, right? Now, number one, did you see the size of that man in the chariot? I'm joking. It can be an ordinary sized man. I realize that is sort of AI delusion. Yes, it is AI delusion. The man probably was not that big. But number one, you have horses trained for warfare. Okay, so what's the difference between warfare and travel? Well, travel, you need endurance, right? You need to go long distances, while warfare generally is short distances, but you do need speed and power. Speed to get around the battlefield fast, and power to, burst through lines or break through lines, or, ride down people. So war horses in history are not the same as what they used to call coursers, right? Like, coursers were horses that had been bred for travel, whereas war horses were horses that were bred for war, obviously. Yes, it's all in the name there. But what you've got here is muddy roads, and don't forget, before the Romans came, there was, and this was way before the Romans, there wasn't brick roads. It wasn't like a road was, what we see it today, or even in Roman times where a road was laid bricks that something could travel on. No, we're talking about dirt roads. That quickly becomes mud. Chariots do not handle mud well. Okay, they don't handle mud well. The horses will get bogged down in mud. And in fact, there is a race between horses and humans, right? Like, it's over 21 miles or 34 kilometers, and it takes place in the Welsh town of Llanwood Wells, and I probably mispronounced that because it's Welsh. There's other man versus horse races. Now, interestingly enough, a lot of the time, the people win, right? The humans win those races, right? Because humans can actually, over long distances, outrun a horse. Like, it's weird. Yes, I get you, and the horses should win. But in the recent ones, and I'll just share this with you, from 2021, since the pandemic kind of thing, it's been the last 4 humans have won them, right? And it sort of says the footing kind of thing. When it's rainy, it can be more problematic. But don't forget, this is people like, 2007, human won it. Good to firm ground, good to soft. Heavy horses win it. But this isn't a chariot, right? This isn't wheels, which can get bogged down. I don't know if, I was thinking, do you guys use bogged down in America? But we're not talking about chariots. We're talking about a person on a horse, right? Like a person riding on a horse. Okay? It's a completely different situation. Now, if you have a chariot with wheels get bogged down, especially in heavy rain and muddy roads, right? Because it's just a dirt road. It would quickly turn to mud. I am not actually surprised that horses that weren't bred for traveling distance, that were bred for war, would not, and attached to a heavy chariot with a dude on the back, right, would not beat a guy on foot just jogging all the way. That isn't a surprise at all. And don't forget, the verse doesn't say right? The verse does not say, and I'll just share this, it doesn't say he ran faster than any person has run. It just says the power of the Lord came upon Elijah, and tucking his cloak into a belt, he ran ahead of Ahab all the way to Jezreel. I'm not sure if Kings 19 goes into it. Yeah, no, he doesn't mention anything else, right? Like that's all it says. So it doesn't actually surprise me that a wheeled conveyance pulled by war horses on a very muddy road in inclement weather would not be able to outrun a human. You know, we're not talking about, you know, a four-wheel drive with traction control here. We're talking about wooden chariot wheels. They're not designed for those conditions, trust me. They're designed for open warfare on plains in warm weather. Mud is not good for these contrivances. So this is the least miraculous miracle that I saw in this combination. Like, even if you take it as read from the Bible, it is the least miraculous thing ever.
Faster than trained war horses, Ahab's jaw drops. He sees his own prophet outrunning his royal horses. 16 miles of rough, muddy road.
Yeah, so 16 miles, sure. And this is the thing. The longer you make the distance, the more chance it is that the human would win, right? That's actually it. Like, the longer it is, the more likely it is for the human to win, because humans can outdistance horses. Over short distances, yeah, absolutely, the horse is going to win. Totally understand it. But over long distances, it's actually the human that will win, because horses overheat and they lather, but they don't sweat like we do. Humans are built for endurance. Absolutely built for endurance.
Between Mount Carmel and Jezreel, his feet never stop. His lungs never burn. God is holding him up. He crests a hill. He sees the city walls of Jezreel in the distance. He reaches the gate first, before the king, before the chariot, before anyone. He looks back down the road. The chariot is still a speck on the horizon.
He outran a horse on foot in a storm.
The text says the power of the Lord came on him.
No, he didn't outrun a horse on foot in a storm. He outran two horses carrying a chariot and the weight of a man on a muddy road in a storm. Right? Like, context, people. You know, when you start to look at it like that, it's not surprising. It really isn't surprising. You know, the heavier something is, the more it sinks into mud. Like, the fact that Elijah was maybe a prophet that didn't eat very much, you know, he was a lightweight guy who was scrawny, that may actually work in your favor. Because the heavier something is, the more it sinks into the mud. I'd imagine a chariot with a dude on the back is pretty damn heavy. I feel sorry for the horses. They were probably struggling, and, you know, he's going, no, we've got to get there before the prophet.
It wasn't Elijah running. That was God carrying him. This is the same prophet who called fire from heaven hours earlier. Same day. Two miracles nobody connects. Fire from heaven, then speed from heaven. Everyone remembers.
Speed from Heaven sounds like a really dodgy movie, to be honest with you. It sounds dodgy. It sounds like a dodgy Christian movie, I gotta say.
Remembers the fire. Almost nobody talks about the run. It's buried in one sentence. One single verse.
And the stone was rolled away. That has got nothing to do with running. You've put this in the wrong place. This was the earlier miracle. This was the earlier... You've messed it up. You've messed it up. What are you doing? What are you doing?
At the end of the chapter. If you blinked while reading 1 Kings 18...
And the scroll remained sealed until the storm passed, and no eye beheld it. Where did the scroll come from? What? That isn't this story. What? I don't, what?
You missed it, but it's there. A man outrunning horses.
So God...
Yes, which happens frequently. They have a man versus horse marathon, and it's not chariots. It's like a dude on top of a horse that has been built and raised and trained to run long distances, and humans still win because the horse has to stop and rest. Okay, so you might ask, then why Pony Express, right? Why did mail get carried on horses then? Why not just have a messenger running kind of thing? What they used to do is switch horses, right? They used to have messenger posts where you would have fresh horses. So what you're doing is you're resetting, like, so horses can do better short distances. You're resetting it to shorter distances all the time. So you would take a message, ride to the next messenger post, switch horses, and the horse would stay with that messenger post and recover its fatigue. And then somebody else would switch horses. That's how it was done when horses were carrying messages. This is not the same. Not the same at all.
Basically gave Elijah superpowers for one night.
For one run. And it's not the only time God showed up on a battlefield.
I gotta say, this is cursed. This is absolutely, this is cursed. This is absolutely cursed.
The next one, God fought the war himself.
God's
Picture Joshua
hailstones.
in this moment.
Yes, God's hailstones. So apparently, God may or may not have a belly button. Maybe he may or may not have a body, but apparently he does have hailstones. Who knew?
You're leading the entire army of Israel. 5 kings have attacked the city of Gibeon. Gibeon sent for help. 5 kings joined together. A coalition you've never seen.
That is the same person. That's the same dude. So apparently there was cloning going on in the ancient. Either that or they were quintuplets. Quintuplets, is that the right one? Yeah, quintuplets. So apparently they were either cloning themselves or quintuplets. Either way, it's highly it's the AI. It is cursed. It is 100% cursed. And I mean, these two dudes, actually, yeah, these two dudes, they are carbon copies of one another.
Seen before. You march your army all night, uphill, through rocky desert terrain. God speaks to you before the sun rises.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start a battle. Uphill, both ways, through rocky terrain. You may need some notes on strategy. Like you don't want to be charging uphill.
Do not be afraid. I have given them. Dawn breaks. You surprise the enemy.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. You ambush them, sure. Good old ambush.
Coalition crumbles immediately. The enemy armies break. They drop their swords. They run for their lives. You chase them down the long road from Beth-horon toward Azekah. The battle is already won. Your army is going to catch them eventually. And then something happens. Something nobody talks about. The sky goes black over the fleeing army. The wind gets strange. Joshua 10, verse 11. Read this verse slowly. Feel it. The Lord hurled large...
Read this verse slowly. Feel it. Yes, because when evaluating history, what we want to do is feel it. Biker, look, that's a completely different video, okay? I'm sure, like, Rule 34, I'm sure it exists on the internet somewhere, but it's a completely different video. It's a completely different video.
Hailstones from heaven, not rain, not a drizzle, massive stones of ice falling from the...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's an accurate description. So what's the largest hailstones ever recorded? So I'll just quickly have a look. So the largest hailstones in the USA were 8 inches or 20.3 centimeters in Vivian, South Dakota. I don't know where that is. Apparently the heaviest in the world. Oh, that was the largest diameter. Well, what's the heaviest? Oh, that was the heaviest. Apparently it's 1.9375 pounds. I don't know what that is. Can you please put that in real units? I know. I use the metric system. Yeah, that's like 0.87, so it's about 878 grams, which isn't that much. It would certainly, like, hurt like hell. I'm not sure if that would kill anybody, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. The heaviest in the world was at Gopalangug. I mispronounced that completely. In Bangladeshi, which is 2.25 pounds or 1.02 kilograms. Okay, now that would kill a bitch. That would absolutely kill a bitch. I'm not joking. Like, you get 1 kilogram hitting you in the head, yeah, that would definitely kill. That would definitely kill. I'm just looking up like lists of deadly hailstorms. What's some recent ones? Let's see. Apparently, oh yeah, I'm not sure if it killed anybody, but there was a major hailstorm in 2024 in Calgary. Did 2.8 billion in damage. Dang. All right. Settle down, Canada. What the hell? What the hell? We got any Australian ones? Because we get some quite severe hailstorms here. Yeah, 2020 was the largest hailstorm recently. Wow, okay. Yeah, settle down, Canada. That's insane. Look, I'm you know, Canada is just a wild wasteland as far as I'm concerned. Well, no, probing it would reach terminal velocity, which you could easily calculate. You know, terminal velocity for 1 kilogram. Yeah, so it depends on the aerodynamics and the air density. Sure. Yes, but for a 1 kilogram sphere, like a small shot put or whatever, the terminal velocity is approximately 70 to 110 meters per second, or 150 to 250 meters per miles per hour. Right. But it varies significantly on its density and aerodynamic shape. Yes, correct. Yeah, no, we get it. It's just as a rough idea, that's what it would be. So that would be, yeah, it would certainly be fast. Yes, its terminal velocity would definitely be very, very fast. But no, not yeah, no, not more than that, because once it reaches that terminal velocity, it can't go any faster. Of hailstones. Yeah, so 110 miles per hour. That is about 100, maybe 160 kilometers per hour. Yeah, 170 something kilometers per hour. So yeah, I mean, it's fast. It's just not that fast. It's just not that fast probing time. But yeah, something weighing a kilogram traveling 170 kilometers per hour will 100%, like, if that hits you in the head, that is no. No, it'd probably only be about 110 miles per hour or 170 kilometers per hour. Like, don't get me wrong, that's still like when I say terminal velocity, that would be terminal to the person it hit in the head. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sky, crushing the enemy army. And here's the part nobody ever talks about. Read the verse again. More of them died from the hailstones than the sons of Israel killed with the sword. God killed more enemy soldiers with hail than Joshua's army killed with swords.
Yeah, I doubt that. I feel like you are getting your conversions back the front. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. 320 kilometers per hour is 200 miles per hour. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm converting from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. I don't know why that would be yeah. So convert 110 miles per hour into kilometers per hour. Because it sort of gives a reasonable thing as like 168 miles per hour if it's solid dense sphere like a lead ball, but it's not lead. It's not that dense. Don't get me wrong. Water and ice is reasonably dense, but it's not as dense as lead or something, like that, like a cannonball or something. There was a grapefruit-sized hail in Wisconsin a couple of nights ago. Dang. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we haven't had hail here for a while. We get pretty bad hail if it does come, but we haven't had it for ages, so.
So Israel showed up with swords, and God showed up with weather?
And the weather won. Honestly, Joshua's army could have stayed home and had breakfast. Then Joshua looks up.
Well, I mean, the weather didn't win. There were still people left over. There were still survivors. And, this is the kind of thing where if you want to sort of talk about, my army was chosen by God. This is the kind of thing where you see a hailstorm, then you have a fight, and then you go, oh, the hail took them out kind of thing. There's way better examples if you want to use the weather as a weapon, right? There's way better examples. There was the invasion of Greece where the ships got sunk, right? The ships went round the bottom of Greece, and there was a storm, and, the Greeks said that Zeus sunk all the ships kind of thing because, Zeus threw lightning bolts at them and Poseidon sunk their ships. But really it was just a storm. And that really upset the Persian emperor so much, Xerxes, that he actually had his troops dig a trench through part of Greece so we could avoid going around the bottom. It's actually wild. I learnt about this the other day. I got to share it with you. I think it was on Mini Minuteman, to be honest with you. Xerxes had his troops, because he had a massive army, to not go around, the Xerxes Canal. It's a 2-kilometer canal going around like the base of the Athos Peninsula. Yeah, absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So I'll just share this. So yeah, because he went round, and can I write on this, or is this gonna mess me up? No, it's gonna mess me up. I hate that. I got to get a new writing thing. But he basically went round. Can I write on this? So he went round there first off, and apparently over here there was a storm that took down all of his fleet. So what he did is he cut a trench through there in order to avoid going around and being subject to storms. Wild stuff. It's a better example of the weather taking out an army kind of thing. Of course, that's what an Australian would say about Canada. Oh, look, okay, we've got our own wildness. It's based upon heat and dangerous and venomous animals. Yours is like, or if you are Canadian or Canada, yours is based upon freezing weather and big ass animals that with a bad attitude. Okay, it's completely different, and I know I would freeze my ass off over there. Freeze my ass off.
The sun is still high. He needs more time to finish. He commands the sun itself. Stand.
Well, that guy grew up fast, right? That was a boy before. How quickly the boy becomes a man.
Still over Gibeon, and it does. That's the miracle everyone remembers. The sun standing still.
Yeah, which is just ridiculous. Like, that is absolutely, like, when they say unbelievable miracles, that is so, because for the sun to stand still, like, in the day, You could go, oh, the sun stood still, and you'd be just talking about the sun, which is traveling across the sky, just standing still. We know now that in order for the sun to stand still, you would have to stop the Earth's rotation, right? The sun isn't actually traveling across the sky. We know now that the Earth is rotating. So you would have to stop the Earth rotating. And due to inertial frames of reference and due to momentum, that would literally kill every human on the Earth and probably most of the animals too. Like the Earth suddenly coming to a stop for rotating would be ridiculous. Like everything would fly sideways. Because we're rotating at a set speed, and stopping it would be probably lethal. Look up Calgary weather for today and laugh at us? Well, I have to rise to the challenge. Calgary weather. -8? Oh, that's insane. That's insane. And that's in Celsius. What? Look, you guys are insane. That's insane. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. You have a ridiculous place. It's ridiculous. Look, I used to get absolutely frozen. I don't know if I've told this story. I used to work in a bakery, like one of a large-scale bakery that sent out baked goods to stores. So it was a large production facility. Just basically, what I would do is I would stack different baked goods and soups and all kinds of things to different stores, kind of thing. But there are also things like frozen soups, like, you know, there was a cool room, or a cold room rather, for certain cakes, ice cream cakes, soups, just things that could be frozen, right? Like things that we kept. And they would have the Australians all work out in the bakehouse where the ovens were. And they would send the New Zealanders into the cold rooms, right? They would get New Zealanders for the cold rooms and Australians for the bakery, because I would go into the cold rooms and work when, you know, they needed me, but I would have my hands freezing. I could not handle the cold. And every time they sent the, you know, sometimes when a New Zealander had to work out near the ovens, they'd be like, they'd be too hot. They'd be sweating and like can't stand it and gulping down water. And the Australians were like, what? It's only like 30 something degrees. It's not a problem, you know, 30, 40 degrees. Who gives a shit? Like, you know, like we were uncomfortable because that's what the workplace was like, but we weren't dying. But send me into the cold rooms, I'd be like, I can't feel my hands. I am dying here. I have no cold acclimatization. And major snow. Okay, I've heard snow is beautiful right up until the point where you're caught in it. And then it's not so beautiful anymore. Apparently snow is beautiful when you're inside and watching it, which I can appreciate. Yeah. You know, thunderstorms with lots of rain and stuff, they're gorgeous when you're inside and out of it. Yeah. Oh, Gamma World? Yes, I have played Gamma World. Yes. Probably the only game in which you can roleplay as a sentient tree. I wish I was joking.
That's the one we put in the Sunday school coloring books. But the hailstones came first. They killed more than the sun ever could. God was fighting the battle before Joshua even opened his mouth.
Yeah, which never happened. The Earth did not stop rotating. I'm sure other people would have noticed all around the world. You know.
The swords of Israel didn't win this battle. The hailstones of God did. One verse, overshadowed by the sun, but it's right there in Joshua 10. God was already winning before Joshua asked for help. Most people miss that.
At this point, I'm scared to ask what's next.
You should be.
You're scared to ask what's next. You're scared. So we've had so far a dude thrown in a tomb who apparently wasn't dead. We've got a guy outrunning a chariot in muddy roads with a large dude on the back, which is the least surprising thing that I've heard throughout all of this. And we've had hail hit an army, and then the army won. Am I missing any? Am I missing any? I don't think these are hitting like you think they're hitting. I don't think they're hitting home. Maybe I've missed one somewhere along the way. I don't know. There's a reason why people don't like, oh, these are the ones that no one talks about. They're pretty unimpressive. Even if, the starves to snakes one. Yes. A Egyptian, a Jewish guy in Egypt and some Egyptian guys do a perfectly understood magic trick in ancient Egypt that has been done since the dawn of civilization. There's a reason why people don't talk about these. It's because once you sort of examine them, they're kind of really unimpressive. Or they seem highly mythologized, like the hailstorm thing. It seems highly mythologized, like, oh, there was a hailstorm. It killed scores of people when really, it may have killed one person and that story got around.
This next one has a giant standing between heaven and earth.
No, the Bible does not condone donkey sacrifice. Apparently, if you beat your donkey, an angel will appear and castigate you. So, yeah. Oh, your own creation? Yeah, man. Hit me up on Discord. Hit me up on the Discord server. And if you want to join the Discord server, the link is in the chat below. You can join Discord. But yeah, hit me up on there, on the gaming channel or whatever. I would. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
With a sword over an entire city. Step into this moment. You're King David, decades on...
I'm King David now, yes. I love the way that they're like, be this person. Be this person. Like, you're traveling on a road and you see Moabite raiders, and you take the body that you're carrying and throw it into a tomb. Why? Just drop it, my guy. If I was that dude, I would drop the body and run. Like, seriously. Or hide, right? I wouldn't throw the body somewhere. Seems like a waste of time. Seems like that body is the least of my problems, even if it is a good friend's body. Just saying.
On the throne, kingdom at peace. And somewhere in that peace, you make the worst decision of your life. You decide to count your soul.
Yeah, the Eastern Brown is horribly venomous. Horribly venomous. Yeah, Probing, you're Australian. I remember that. Yeah, aren't you from Queensland or New South Wales? I can't remember which. But yeah, Eastern Browns are horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. That's the kind of snake that bites you and you don't get to tell anybody about it. Because if you're alone, you're in trouble. In big trouble. Eastern Brown. What's the other one? It's the taipan, the most poisonous snake in the world. Most poisonous snake in the world. Yeah, inland taipan, and that's also in Australia. So yeah. Inland taipan is a worrisome snake. A worrisome snake.
Soldiers. Every fighting man in Israel. You want numbers. Joab, your commander, warns you. Don't do this. God will not be pleased. But you ignore him.
Central New South Wales, now Gold Coast. Okay, so yeah, fair enough. Look, I don't blame you. New South Wales is a dirty state, quite frankly. Gold Coast is kind of like the Florida of Australia. It's kind of that's where all the theme parks are, and a lot of people retire there.
Pride tells you to know your own power. You count anyway. Then conviction hits. You realize what you've done. Your heart sinks. You cry out to God. I have sinned. Please forgive your servant. I beg you. But God sends the prophet Gad. He gives you 3 terrible choices. 3 years of famine, 3 months of enemy attack, or 3 days of the sword of the Lord.
Oh, it's sword of the Lord. You're a poet and you didn't know it. Your rhyming scheme has just on point. Prairie and Western Diamondback. Yeah, but look, Look, I'm not hassling the poisonous quotient of the rattler. Okay, they are very poisonous, very venomous. I get you. Their poison is bad, but I will say they do warn you. They have an inbuilt warning system. Yeah, an inbuilt warning system that you should go away. And look, we have tiger snakes, and tiger snakes they have an attitude. They will chase you. They are motherfuckers. They actually do chase people away. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Like tiger snakes, look, they look gorgeous. They're just, they're necessary for the ecosystem. They look gorgeous, but those things have an attitude. Okay, tiger snakes, they need some sort of therapy. They've got a bad attitude. It's not right. It's not right something that venomous to have a bad attitude. Yeah, that is God shining a gay beam on people. Yes, that is exactly how someone came out in the ancient Levant. God would shine the gay beam. They would say, "Hey, I'm gay," and that is how they came out. Accurate.
You choose the third. You'd rather fall into God's hands than man's. And then the plague begins, sweeping through Israel, village by village. By the end of day 1, the bodies are beyond counting. 70,000 dead. David stands on his palace.
And David turned into a zombie, apparently. I don't know why. But David is now zombie. Zombie David. So this is a bit weird, because David does something wrong. And God goes out and gives him 3 options, all of which, right? So you've got plague, famine, and sword of God. All 3 of which don't actually affect David himself. They kill his people. Right? Like, I don't understand how that is, from the good book, from the moral book. If somebody does something wrong, you destroy that which is dear to them, even if they're innocent people. One day I would like to go through the Bible and add up all the times that God has broken the Geneva Convention. Because this would be okay. Like, I would go, okay, that's a bit extreme, proportional response and all, but attacking soldiers is one thing. Like, if God did, you get the sword of God, it strikes down all of your soldiers, people that are professionally employed to defend you. Okay. But you're talking about just civilians here. You're talking about just people, who have absolutely no control and, may not even support King David. They might be this king is terrible, I hate him, but he's got lots of guys with swords, right? He's got a lot of guys, they got a lot of swords, there's nothing I can do about this guy, even though I'd like to. And God goes, well, I'm going to strike all of the people down that oppose you as well. Why not strike down the soldiers? Then all the people that don't like David could actually do something. But no, it's kill the civilians. I really would like to go through the Bible and add up all the times that God has broken the Geneva Conventions. Just out of interest,
Roof.
I wonder if someone has done that. Has broken the Geneva list of times God has broken the Geneva Conventions. Here's God is describing the Bible as a war criminal. Yeah, we know that. How often is the Geneva Convention broken in the Bible? Yeah, that's the exact question I'm asking. The Geneva Convention is just to remind us that war is brutal. It's not for sentiment. No, it's not. It's because World War II was so brutal and horrible. We basically made up rules so we wouldn't do that ever again, because of the sheer appalling appalling nature of it. Yeah, I don't see anybody adding it up, but it might be interesting to see.
He sees the plague approaching Jerusalem itself. He looks toward the city wall.
He looks towards the city wall and got cured of his zombification. And got a zombie cure, apparently. God's day beam feel over me. Yeah. Yeah, God gives the gay beam. Yahoo! Look, I just want to say that LGBTQI rights are human rights. We are not giving any extra rights to people. We are just making sure that everybody has the same rights. That is all. And that's what I'm going to say about that.
And then he looks up. What he sees changes him forever. 1 Chronicles 21.
He sees a gay beam? Is that another gay beam? Changes him forever. David is now gay. Look, it doesn't have the rainbow color, but I'm going to choose to believe that's a gay beam. Look, it's just the AI couldn't do another gay beam properly. He's like, I'm gay? Better. He does have a fabulous wardrobe. I will give him that.
He looks up. What he sees changes him forever. 1 Chronicles 21, verse 16. Read the verse slowly. Feel what he saw.
No, don't feel what he saw. Use your emotion in evaluating this verse, because nothing screams accuracy like emotional reasoning. Nothing screams accuracy like emotionally reading through it. Yes. Absolutely.
He lifted his eyes and saw the angel of the Lord standing between earth and heaven, with a drawn sword in his hand, stretched out over the entire city of Jerusalem. David and the elders fell on their faces, wearing sackcloth, terrified to their bones.
So David apparently not only got zombified, but he's also having wild hallucinations. He was also, in that picture, he looks like he's wearing his crown on his back, which is a really weird way to do it. Look, I'm not judging his dress choices, okay? I'm not judging his dress choice. I think that takes away from a lot of his authority. Just saying.
David cries out, "Punish me, not them. I am the one who sinned. Let your hand be on me." Then God speaks to the angel. "Enough. Stop. Withdraw your hand from the city." The angel stops.
Yeah, great. So when he goes, "Hey, punish me, not them," David being good guy David, the Lord goes, "Okay, enough is enough, stop." But what about the people that are dead? What about all the dead people? Were they resurrected? No? Just screw those people in particular, I guess? Hi, true angel. Yeah, it kind of seems remnant to the plot of Attack on Titan right now, to be honest with you. You know, like you're going to get a whole bunch of people with grappling hooks and lines attacking this angel, you know, trying to take it out with a cut to the head or something. Cut to the neck, sorry. Yeah, Attack on Titan Bible edition.
His massive feet resting on one specific spot outside the city. A threshing floor, owned by a farmer named Araunah. Nothing special about it. God tells David, build an altar on that threshing floor.
You know what? It would have been a better story if, the angel came along and then humans, the wall having not held, the humans make a whole bunch of mechs, Pacific Rim style, to take on the angels. Just saying. That would be a story. That would be a baller story. Look, Pacific Rim, I'm here for Pacific Rim Biblical Edition, okay? That's what I'm here for.
Right where the angel stood. David buys the land, builds the altar, offers the sacrifice.
Why does David have to buy the land if he's a king? Oh, good guy David, that's right.
Fire falls from heaven.
Okay, that's insane. But why does the threshing floor matter?
Because that threshing floor, that exact spot, is where Solomon built the temple. 2 Chronicles 3, verse 1. The spot where the angel almost destroyed Jerusalem became the most sacred ground in Israel. Most people tell this story and stop at the angel. They never mention what was under its feet. God turned a place of judgment into the holiest place in the world.
Yeah. Did any of the people come back to life that were slaughtered by God? Okay. Or else, David just had a wild hallucination, bought some random threshing floor and Solomon built a temple on top of it because he said it was holy. Like, how did you know? How did you know it was holy? How did you know that an angel stood there? Oh, it just was? Okay. Okay.
Remy, I've been reading the Bible for years. How am I just now hearing about all of this?
Because
You've been reading the Bible for years and you haven't heard of any of these stories. This is the problem with Christianity. They will read the parts they like and ignore all the rest. So these ridiculous stories. I mean, I would, as an atheist, I would proffer up that these stories are mythology, right? And they kind of speak to how stories get created, especially the one with Elijah running fast. I don't think that it's a miracle that somebody ran faster than a chariot when the ground is muddy and there's a dude in the chariot and, you know, it has to go through a muddy street and heavy rain kind of thing. It's not that surprising over a very long distance. It would be difficult to outrun it, but it wouldn't be impossible, especially when the horses are war horses. They're large, they're bred for war, they're not bred for travel, they're not coursers. But, you know, it sort of shows the mythology of, hey, this guy outran the chariot. Oh, it's a miracle. It must have been the power of the Lord. But the rest of them, you know, Christians won't read the entire Bible. They'll just read the parts that they like over and over and over. Now, I've read the Bible in the past. I've definitely read the Starves to Snakes story. You know, and I mean, I thought it was just mythology, but there is a magician's trick from ancient Egypt, which is to wrap a snake round a staff, and it, you know, appears that the staff has turned into a snake kind of thing. Like, it's an old trick. And there's modern magician's trick of a scarf turning into a snake. Like, these tricks are just that. They're tricks. So I think, aside from anything else, they really show how just story becomes legend, becomes mythology, right? We're not talking about, hey, you know, this is exactly what they saw and this is how they relate it. No, something happens and it seems unlikely to the teller. And as they tell it to their friends and their family, it's like fish stories. Like the fish, and nobody ever caught a fish this big. You know, it always gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think that's the same as mythology works. But these are the ones which kind of key you in to how this mythology is being generated. So they ignore these stories and they go to something else, something that doesn't seem like it was mythology, like, you know, a normal story retelling getting more grandiose. They go to ones that seem impossible. So these ones get ignored. And plus, the other reason these get ignored is because sometimes they're not this story that the red lamb liar here, I don't know if he's a liar, it's not the story he's telling, right? Like, usually it's just one sentence. Like, you know, Elijah gathered his cloak around his waist and ran ahead of the chariot. And that's it. He added all of the other stuff. So it doesn't actually have the miracles as described by the lying red lamb in here.
Because we think we already know the story, so we stop looking. And this last one, a man lost his life because he listened to the wrong voice.
Yeah, plenty of people have done that. Plenty of people have lost their life because they listened to the wrong voice. Like that is unsurprising. Yes, you know, yeah. Don't wrap your snake around your staff. Like and share the stream. Absolutely, like and share. I mean, I'm having a ton of fun with this. I hope you are too. And, you know, get more people in because we can... This is actually hilarious to me. It's hilarious. You know, people died because they listened to the wrong voice. Yeah, tons of people have. You know, I always love the Darwin Awards. And, I mean, it's macabre. It's so macabre. Like, it's so... It's wrong. It really is. But there's something really hilarious about it, you know. I think my favorite Darwin Award was these, I think they were like young guys that were in a snowfield, and they basically decided that I think they were really, really drunk, and they decided to rip the protective padding off of a ski lift pillar. Is that what it's called? One of the supports for the ski lift. As the line goes up, you have supports for them. So they ripped the protective padding off of that, and they slid down the slope on this protective padding. Now, one of them died when he hit a support post for a ski lift. He would have survived, except they had ripped the protective padding from that exact support strut, that pillar, that support pylon, I guess it is. And that's sort of where your stupidity has removed you from the gene pool. But that was probably somebody's idea. Yeah, you're listening to the wrong voice. Yes. Yes.
Put yourself in this moment. You're a young prophet. God has just spoken directly to you. 3 clear commands. Go to Bethel. Speak the word. Return a different way. 1 specific warning. Do not eat bread. Do not drink water. Not in that place. You
Oh, wow. God's really into fasting then. Okay.
walk. You arrive at Bethel. The king is there, at his forbidden altar. You deliver your message, loud and clear, right in front of him, right at his altar. The king explodes in rage, points at you, shouts, "Seize that man!" And then, his pointing arm freezes midair. His hand withers before his eyes. Then,
Wait, is the king pointing, or is the someone pointing at the king? I'm very confused.
the king explodes in rage, points at you, shouts,
Yeah,
"Seize
it's the
that
king
man!"
pointing.
And then,
Now it's a commoner. I don't understand. It's the king, now it's a commoner.
his pointing arm freezes midair. His hand withers before his eyes.
Now he's pointing at the king. And now the king is lower. Before the king was upper and pointing down, now it's someone pointing up at the king. Maybe it's just that Spider-Man meme where they're both pointing at one another. Maybe that's what's happening.
Then the altar splits. Ashes spill out onto the ground. The king falls to his knees, pleading, begging you to pray for him. You pray. The king
You pray and God sends down gay beams to make the king gay. The gayification has begun on the king. He does wear really nice robes. That's pretty fierce, I gotta say. It's a fierce crown you're wearing, Queen. The gay beams are back. The gay beams are back.
The king's hand is restored instantly, normal, whole again. The king is grateful, offers you a feast, gold, royal honor, whatever you want. You say no. Not even half a kingdom would.
No, this isn't. The king isn't saying no. Look, you've mucked up who the king is and who the guy is, who the prophet is. Okay, unless he stole the king's crown, is that the Burger King? Look, Ember, we don't have Burger King. Okay, we don't have Burger King over here. It's called Hungry Jack's over here. Don't ask me why. It's a long story.
Move you. God said no. You walk out of Bethel, down a different road, just as God commanded. You walk for hours, tired, hungry. You stop in the shade of a tree. And that's when the old prophet rides up, on a donkey.
The old prophet rides up on a donkey. On a donkey. Was it the donkey that's talking in the background? Was it the donkey that's talking? Was that the donkey? Was it a talking donkey? The world wants to know. Is it a talking donkey? Is the donkey sentient, and does it talk? Does it talk?
Friendly, warm. Come to my home, he says. Rest, eat, refresh yourself. I am a prophet too. You refuse him too. Same answer. God said don't eat, don't drink, not here. Then the old prophet says this. An angel of the Lord spoke to me, told me to bring you back. Here's what the Bible says next. 1 Kings 13.
1 Kings 13:18. But the prophet was lying to him. It was a lying prophet. A lying prophet. As opposed to all those other prophets which absolutely told the truth.
Verse 18. But he was lying to him. 5 words that change everything you just heard. But the young prophet doesn't know that. He trusts. He goes. He believes. They walk together back to the old man's house. The young prophet glances back once. Inside the old prophet's home they sit. Bread is served. A cup is filled. He eats. And mid-meal, the old prophet suddenly freezes. God
sends down gay beams and makes the old prophet a gay man. Yes. You will love the D.
God speaks through him. The same mouth that lied to get you here now delivers God's true word to you.
Wait, the guy who lied is now the one giving God's real message?
That's exactly what the text says.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm not saying a God couldn't do that. It's just, why did he allow him to lie in the first place? It's kind of weird.
The same mouth. The Bible doesn't explain it. It just tells you what happened. The young prophet leaves.
Why is his donkey so small? Hey, that is a tight, small little ass right there. I will say. That is one tight little small ass that he's got. Is he going to ride that donkey? Look, it's not the size of your donkey that matters. It's the stubbornness that matters. But, you know, I just worry about the donkey. Like, I hope you're not going to ride that thing, because that donkey does not look like it can support your weight. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I usually don't shame donkeys, but, you know, that's a small ass.
Alone, on the road, and a lion meets him. The lion doesn't eat him. The donkey doesn't run. They just stand.
Okay, so the donkey grew up while on the journey. I will say that. The lion just stands there. Just. Okay, so this is all about lions and donkeys. All right, gotcha. Hang on. It says that hang on. It says that the prophet said to his sons, so his sons were with him? Hold it. You have defied the word of the Lord. Yeah, we saw that bit. You came back and ate bread and drank water in the place where you told not to eat and drink. Therefore, your body will not be buried in the tomb of your ancestors. Okay. I mean, as far as things go, that's not the worst thing that ever happened. When the man of God had finished, the prophet who had brought this back saddled his donkey for him. As he went on his way, a lion met him on the road and killed him, and his body was left lying on the road, with both the donkey and the lion standing beside it. So the donkey, the lion was standing. That doesn't make sense, but sure. Some people who passed by saw the body lying there, with the lion standing beside the lion body, and they went and reported it in the city where the old prophet lived. Wow, okay. So what happens to the old prophet who lied? Nothing happens to him? He's the new prophet.
There, together, guarding. 6 stories.
No. What happens then? Don't leave it there. So when the prophet who had brought back his journey had heard of it, it is the man of God who defied the word of the Lord. The Lord has given him over to the lion, which has mauled and killed him, as the word of the Lord has warned him. Then the guy that lied said, saddle the donkey for me, and they did so. They went out and found the body lying on the road with the donkey and lion standing beside it. The lion had neither eaten the body nor mauled the donkey. So the prophet picked up the body of the man of God, laid it on the donkey, and brought it back to his own city to mourn for him and bury him. Then he laid the body in his own tomb, and they mourned over him and said, Alas, my brother. After burying him, he said to his sons, When I die, bury me in the grave where the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones. For the message he declared... Okay, so he wasn't buried in the tomb of his ancestor. He was buried in the tomb of some random dude. Okay, is that bad? I don't know if that's bad. I don't know how to evaluate that. I don't know. But okay, but what happens to the guy? So this is the morality that we're talking about in the Bible, right? You basically have a young guy who's presumably a bit naive, right? Like he's a young guy. He's not sort of worldly, hasn't been around in the world, and you get an old guy who's presumably, old enough to develop a little bit of cunning. That old guy cunning, when the old guy, you try and trick him and he's well ahead of the game because he's been tricked before, somebody that has sort of been around a bit. He's done the sister wife scam on more than a couple of times. Okay, he's well aware of the scams out there, and he says, oh, you've got to eat and drink. So instead of punishing the dude that took advantage of the naivete of your messenger and having him mauled by a lion, instead you use the guy who tricked him to relay a message. Don't allow him to atone for his, naivete. And then you kill your messenger for being taken in by a confidence trickster. I feel like God's blaming the wrong person here. I feel like, you can say this is a test and everything, and he failed the test, therefore he deserves it. But I don't know. I feel like, when it comes to a confidence trickster and their victim, you should really blame the person who's lying out of their ass. The person who is making crap up should be the one to be punished, not the person who was taken in by the scam. But, if you do read the Old Testament, there's scams running amok through that thing. I'm still doing Genesis in my other segment, and the sister wife scam of saying your wife is actually your sister, then when some important person takes your sister into their household, you get all this money because they've taken somebody else's wife. That's the sister wife scam. That runs abundantly. Abraham does it. Isaac does it. It's a scam. It's absolutely a scam. But yeah, aren't you punishing the wrong person? Wow.
All right there on the page. So why do we keep missing them? Maybe because we think we already know what the Bible says.
Yeah, I don't. I think that, I would encourage people to read these smaller stories in the Bible. Read all of these stories. That they are ridiculous. I think that this is actually a good, all jokes aside, it's actually good to see these stories because you start to understand how history becomes mythology and how ridiculous some of them are. Read the story about the guy being ripped apart by she-bears because he worked on the Sabbath. It's ridiculous. No, it was the children being torn apart by she-bears because so they made fun of a guy being bald, right? They made fun of a baldy, and they were ripped apart by she-bears as commanded by God because they insulted a bald guy. They're ludicrous. And, the guy that was killed because he worked on the Sabbath, what did he do? He picked up sticks for his fire. That's it. Just ridiculous. Oh, the new one spot. Okay, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I thought I'd gotten that. I really do apologize, people. I really do apologize. I thought I had updated all of them. Maybe I hadn't, and that is absolutely my fault. I cannot blame anybody but my damn self. I do have a new one. I just have to grab it. There it is. And I will update that forthwith. Okay, that is the new link. I do apologize for anybody that clicked on the link. We change it intermittently for any security concerns, so be aware. Our moderators will take action against people spamming, against people posting ads, against any of that kind of behavior. So we'll throw them out and take action to change the link. So whoever's bots is doing it, they can't come back in. We keep it tight. We may not have a loose ass, a big fat loose ass, but we don't have a big fat loose Discord either. It's very tight ass ship. My pleasure. No, thanks you for letting me know, Biker. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, mate. I really appreciate it. Look, I try my best. I miss stuff sometimes. It happens. Let me know. Let me know. Always happy to know. Always happy to know. So yeah, thank you very much. But yeah, I recommend reading these smaller stories. They're absurd. They're absurd. And usually the morality of them is less than what you get from Aesop's fables. You know, like actual fables.
We read for the big moments, the plagues, the fire, the sun standing still. But God didn't just show up in the headlines. He showed up in the details.
And now the gay beams are touching the Holy Bible. Now the Holy Bible is gay. What, moderation? Am I supposed to do a thing? Look, it's your choice. It's your choice. You can moderate as look. It's not like I pay my moderators. I pay them in respect and jokes. That's what they're paid in. They're paid in high levels of respect and low levels of humor. Okay, so that's what they're paid in. But I really appreciate it. Just all jokes aside, I appreciate it. And yes, you heard it here first. The Bible is gay. Yes, correct. The gay beam hit the Bible. Bible becomes gay. It's much more fabulous than it was before.
In a threshing floor, nobody noticed. In a single verse, nobody quoted. In a prophet's feet, moving faster than a chariot.
Yeah, but there's context for that, right? It's a prophet's feet going faster than chariot on a muddy road during heavy rain. That's not really surprising at all.
In bones that still carried his power. Every page has something you haven't seen yet. You just have to slow down. So next time you open your Bible...
Oh, that is cursed. Like, the way this lamb is looking at me, it is cursed. Don't look at me like that, lamb. It's cursed.
Don't just read it. Look closer.
Remy, how many more of these are there?
Honestly, I keep finding new ones every time I read.
Great. So I basically know nothing.
Hey, now you know 6 more than you did 10 minutes ago.
Why is this donkey like, oh, well, I know nothing about the Bible? Aren't you a Christian? Shouldn't you read the Bible? It's amazing to me how little Christians actually read the Bible. And I kind of recommend they do. It's actually strange because you recommend they do. Just read it with a critical mind. That's all. Okay. So apparently there's more of these. I found this one while traveling the internet, as I usually do, trying to find stuff for Fundamentalist fails. But if they've got more, I'm game. I'm game, because these are terrible, they're funny, and they kind of, I really think they outline how story becomes legend, becomes mythology. It's really indicative. And I think they're meant for children. I think they're really meant for children, because I think that, hold on, I just fixed my camera. I'm feeling a little bit unfocused. There we go. I really think that the stories really show how legend becomes. Yeah, I already said that legend becomes mythology, but also it kind of is absurd to the point of these stories deconvert people. I am so keen to get onto the entire Exodus, book of Exodus in my Is God the Arsehole story, because that entire thing is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story. And if you look at it in the right, sort of a neutral context, not a everything God does is right, it becomes absolutely appalling. Like this angel story, right? You've got a king doing something wrong, and you don't punish the king. You slaughter his people. In what world is that the right action to take if a king does something wrong? Because those people, they won't have any choice over the decisions the kings make. It's not like you're living in a society where if you don't like the king, you can vote them out. So in that way, everyone's kind of, or the people that voted for him are complicit. No. You might say, hey, his soldiers and the his bureaucracy, his councils, they're complicit in keeping him in power. But, the average peasant, what did they do? They don't get a choice of who's in power. They don't, they can't change anything. They're just put there. Actually, I was on a panel the other day and someone was like, yeah, I think aristocracy, the monarchy is one of the best systems. And it's like, what are you talking about? Monarchy is not a good system. It's only good if you assume you're going to be in the upper 5% of the monarchy. You assume you're going to be at the top. If you're at the bottom, it's terrible. So I don't understand any of this. But, if you have a king who wants to, there's a plague, or there's a famine, or there's some kind of calamity that you can't explain, and you want to be able to tell your people what has happened, saying that it is God is sort of a get out of jail free card. It's a, hey, this isn't my problem. This is what God did. And yeah, maybe it was just the weather. Maybe it's a plague is just a virus. It's just either bacteria, virus, some kind of pathogen that is attacking your people. But you don't know that at the time. It's just, okay. Yeah, they do have box pupils. Yeah. Someone brought that up. Yes. So, yeah. You know what? Jinx, that is probably my favorite scene from Monty Python, and definitely from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think that is hilarious. Because the peasants just going, supreme executive power flows from the will of the people, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. The peasant is actually talking in correct terms. He's talking in political science terms, which is fantastic. And completely outraged that that a leader should be chosen in some way by some sort of magic or divine ritual, or some kind of magic that or miracle that makes the person a good person inherently. And then we see the excesses of the monarchy, the excesses of these kings. They're all horrible people. It's just ridiculous. Nobody chose these people. They were just a bigger bastard than the guy next to them. It's no way to run a society. Anyway, so that was Fundamentalist Fails. I actually enjoyed that quite a great deal. And not just because the AI, gave 4 legs to Aaron, or, had the guy on the chariot bigger than the horses, but also because it really does illustrate a progression of stories through our society where memes evolve, they change, and they become mythology. Because that's what this is. It is mythology. It's just stories that have been passed down and grown bigger in the telling. They become these grandiose things like the hailstorms. Maybe they were large hailstorms, hit one soldier, killed him. By the time it gets told to your descendants' friends, it's a massive hailstorm with boulders came down and crushed the enemy army, Yeah. Anyway, do take care. Don't forget, the link for the Discord is in the bottom. Do like and subscribe. It helps me out a great deal. Get more people in so we can enjoy these ridiculous videos together, have a laugh, have some insight about them. It's all fantastic. If you want to join, readerships are on. I just had a member stream yesterday where I played a cat evolution, a cat eugenics game, I think, which is just, it's a hilarious game, which is a lot of fun. So come and join if you do feel like hanging out. That's fine. But don't forget, be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much if you don't read the Bible. If you do read the Bible, whatever you're doing, don't beat yourself up too much. Just be kind to yourself. Just sort of say, hey, I want to do this and I didn't get round to doing it, or I want to do this and it didn't happen. Not, don't slaughter yourself, especially in today's absurd world at the moment, because it is absurd. I was talking to my wife the other day. The world's just gone absurd. It really has. Everything sounds like a bad movie, and it's just ridiculous. So be kind to yourself. If you're feeling like this world makes no sense, it may not be you. It may not be you. It is probably the world, because I think it makes no sense either. Be kind to each other. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are trying to make their way through this absurdity. I totally understand that. But thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully. Hopefully.
To what new horizons can we look now? Where are tomorrow's opportunities? The frontiers of the future are not on any map. But now, what's ahead of us?